Hi, Scott Hawkinson here, Stewardship Director of the Iowa-Missouri Conference with the Stewardship Nugget. Now, there are a lot of words that we use as Christians that we assume people know what they mean. Words like sanctification, justification, and atonement. Another such word is stewardship. What does stewardship really mean? Well, let's get a little help from Webster. According to Webster's dictionary, stewardship is the conducting, supervising, or managing of something, especially the careful and responsible management of something entrusted to your care. Christian stewardship, then, would be the careful and responsible management of what God has entrusted to our care. So what has He entrusted to us? The first thing is time. We receive life from God. In Acts 17, verse 28, we read, "For in Him we live and move and have our being." Each day we are alive is a gift from God. Stewardship, then, would include what we do with the time that God has given us. Secondly, treasure. Anything that you and I have here on earth is something that we have received really from God. Psalm 24, verse 1 tells us, "The earth is the Lord's, and all of its fullness." Any earthly possessions we have in our name are really the Lord's. We just get to manage it. Lastly, talents. In 1 Corinthians 12, verse 7, we read, "But the manifestation of the Spirit is given to each one for the profit of all." Some examples of these gifts listed in the Bible are wisdom, knowledge, faith, healing, leadership, and discernment. These gifts, or God-given abilities, are given not just for our own benefit, but for the benefit of all. We see that God has entrusted us with time, treasure, and talent. Now, a good steward understands what his master wants him to do with the master's possessions. So what is it that God wants us to do with the time, treasure, and talents He has entrusted to us? We see the answer in 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 10. God instructs us, as each one has received a gift, minister it to one another, a good steward of the manifold grace of God. God gives to us that we can be a blessing to others. A good steward, then, is a person who makes other people's lives better with the gifts God has given them. Jesus tells us in Acts 20, verse 35, that it is more blessed to give than to receive. And this is how Jesus lived His life, constantly giving health and truth and love to the people He met. We are told in 1 John chapter 2, verse 6, that he who abides in Him ought to walk just as He walked. Jesus was the greatest giver this world has ever seen. To be like Him is to give like Him. God has given us time, treasure, and talents that we can be a blessing to others as He did. I would like you to put your hands out, palm side up. Go ahead, you can do it. Your right hand represents God. He has His hand always held open, giving what He has to us as we need it. The left hand represents you. God places time, treasure, and talent in your hand. Now, how open has your hand been in giving to others what God has given to you? Is your hand always open to share with others so their spiritual, physical, and emotional needs are met? Or has your hand been mostly closed, only occasionally open to meet others' needs? The more we appreciate and value God's gracious, open hand to us, the more our hand will open to others. Let's follow Jesus' instructions in Matthew 10, verse 8. "Freely you have received, freely give."